I'm just going to do a quick tutorial today on how to make these cute sweater balls. I have a bunch of sweater scraps and from my felted wool projects, and I've cut out a bunch of circles. It was kind of a fun, relaxing project to do, or just cut out these when you have a few minutes to spare. You're watching a good movie or something. Just get out your wool scraps. Hopefully you are saving your scraps for fun things like this. So once you have some circles cut out, doesn't matter what size they are. As you can see, I have a different range of sizes, and I'm going to start by just threading a needle with upholstery thread. And I like to use upholstery thread because it doesn't break as easily as normal thread when you're gathering and making your balls. So I'll just make a knot at the end. As you can see, an easy way to make a knot is just to come to the end of your two threads, wrap it around your finger, and then just roll the thread and then pull it. And it will make a knot at the end. I'm just going to take one of these sweater circles and start stitching. I'm going to stitch around the edge, just about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of do a running stitch. As you can see, the stitches are kind of big. So I'll just stitch like that all the way around. When you've come around to about where you started your stitching, we want to bring the needle to the outside. So there's my knot. I'm going to poke my needle through at the seam allowance just to the outside, and then just kind of pull it. So there you have like a little pouch thing. I'm going to take some polyester fiber fill and just stuff it in with my thumbs. You kind of pull it to get that poking out there. And you don't need very much of that, as you can see. So just poke it in. And you will want to poke the seam allowance in the inside of the circle as well. So you kind of poke your thumb in there, your thumb's in there. Depending how stiff your fabric is, you might not need as much fiber fill stuffing. So you kind of get it in there like that. It's not going to be very tight. The circle's not going to be very tight yet, but so we're going to continue to stitch on the outside and just stitch one more time. Maybe you might need to do it a couple times around just to keep that tight. So you see it pulls it in a little bit more, and I'll keep poking my thumb down in there so that seam allowance is nice and tight inside. And I'll continue to stitch. You can see sometimes if your fabric's a little stiffer, you might still have a little hole there. So you can kind of go back and forth across the circle to help close that in a little bit more. So once you have that secured nice and tight, we're going to knot that off by taking a little stitch right by the thread. Leave a loop. I'm going to wrap my needle inside that loop a couple times around that loop and just gently pull it till it leaves a knot on the outside. We don't want that knot to show, so I'm just going to poke my needle in right by the knot, poke it through to the other side of the ball and pull it tight, and that knot disappears, and then we can cut off the excess thread. So there you have it, a fun little sweater ball. Only took a few minutes to make. A fun thing to do is I like to keep a Ziploc bag full of some of these circles with my thread and a pair of scissors, so I have a quick go-to project in the car, on the plane, or on the bus or something, or just enjoy sitting and making some of these fabric sweater balls.